Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are the general energies, trends and themes that we're likely to be experiencing over the course of the week. These may be themes on a microcosmic level, which is more personal, or a macrocosmic level, which is more about the worldwide situation. So all of that sort of shows up here, and all of this is led by my weekly intuitive message. So every week I will sit before the reading, I will go into my intuition and I will ask for a message. Sometimes it will be like a vision that plays out in my head. Sometimes it will literally just be a word or a color or a feeling. Sometimes it will, it will literally be like I'm hearing somebody say something to me. Like there's so many different ways that it will come through. But this week's one was an interesting one. I don't know if you can see that because the light seems to be in the way, but before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So for the intuitive message this week, what the words that I heard, and it's really interesting because I didn't get the mermaid didn't come through until the very end. So the words that I got were the cure and the cause come from the same cup. So in some way, shape or form this week, whatever challenge or situation or issue might arise for us, the thing that you are having the challenge, the issue or the problem with has the seed of its own cure in it. It's kind of like when we were little, so there's an urban legend that says whenever you find a patch of stinging nettles, not far from it, you would find a patch of dock leaves. That's what we call them anyway. And so whenever you got stung by the stinging nettle, you would take a dock leaf, you would give it a rub, and then you would rub it on the place that the stinging nettle had stung you, and it would help it subside. I don't know whether it's psychosomatic or, but I'm sure it works, but because there's a biological element to it, but it's kind of like that. Now what I saw prior to this was a basin. It kind of like looked, actually funnily enough, it looked sort of similar to the Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince scene where Dumbledore has to drink the potion. If you've seen the film, then you know which part I'm talking about. But I didn't see that specifically. I just understood that from this basin or from this cup, the cure and the cause is from the same space. And then right at the end, I saw a mermaid, and it's not an energy that I've worked with a lot. It's not one that it's a beautiful symbol, but it's not one that I'm really associated with, to be fair. And so I was like, okay, so I had to look it up. I did some digital bibliomancy, i.e. Googled, to have a look at what the sort of general trends, energies and themes are that come up around mermaids. And the thing that I definitely got was synthesis between the land and sea, obviously, so earth and water coming together, which is a fertile energy. So yes, lots of fertility energy, but more importantly, transmutation of emotional states was the thing that I got from this. So, and she was handing me a cup, a gold goblet, and so this I found really interesting because this message had come before her, and it was like right at the end she kind of came up and she then gave me this cup, and what I took away from that was literally, this is a week where by transmuting how you feel about something, you'll be able to see it from a different perspective or gain some dominance over the situation by changing your emotional response to the thing that is causing the problem, the challenge or the issue. Hopefully you don't have any problems, challenges or issues, but life is life and facts are facts, right? So it is what it is. For our Destiny card, we're going to be using the Human Design Oracle deck this week for the Destiny energy. I just felt pulled towards it this week, so I was like, you know what, let's switch it up a little. And of course we do. For this, we have the Gate 57 and Intuition. And the message behind this card that I absolutely love is, yes, it's about tapping into your intuition and listening to it, but it's about allowing your intuition to speak, even when it reveals something to you or gives you something that seems like the most unlikely. So as an example, and you know, I love the way that the universe works because it knows what it's doing, right? The universe is so incredibly wise and you know, clever and intricate, and at times it feels like a little bit obnoxious too, let's be honest. But all jokes aside, like, this is, you know, maybe you've had like a really tough day, or you're going through a situation and then you go to a supermarket because you have to pick something up, and the people in front of you are talking about something that sparks an idea or speaks directly to your situation. Or you get in the car to go out and you turn the radio on, and a specific song with the perfect lyrics for the situation that you're going through speaks to you. And it's almost like you get that, you know, the whisper up your back of your neck that says, this is for you, pay attention. So this week your intuition is speaking to you, but it's speaking to you in or through very unlikely means. And so the cure and the cause from the same cup, the root of whatever situation arises for us this week, has the message, right? The medicine is in the medicine and the poison, let's say, are the same thing this week. So pay attention to that. For our direction cards, how do we best tap into our intuition this week? How can we make that channel clearer than it has been before? Through the Five of Pentacles, through accepting that actually maybe the answer isn't going to come just from you, it's going to come from the external world. Remember, this card, aside from all of its other meanings, it's about being able to accept the support that is available to you, that you might not that you might not necessarily be seeing at this moment in time. Also admitting your vulnerability. He says, with his voice going, the King of Swords, which this for me speaks to letting somebody who can go above and beyond you stand for you. Maybe this is calling in a big gun in some way. Maybe it's calling in or cashing in a favor in some way. And then you've got the Two of Swords. So this is a week where some situation is likely to come what I feel is coming to an end or a completion. And by the end of this, the Two of Swords, your eyes are going to be completely open. But when they are, this may very well give you some cause for, like, if I had known that, you know, why didn't you just tell me that? Why didn't I just know that? Why didn't I just have that piece of information? Because it would have taken away the ... Well, the truth of the matter is you don't know if it would have. So this week, I advise you to be more present than ever before. The other thing as well with that King of Swords, that can usually represent an air sign male, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra, and somebody that comes up with the Two of Swords. These tend to be very discerning people or very intuitive people, interestingly enough. On the wider world stage, I mean, I don't know if any of you have seen what's happening here in the UK. I talked about this not too long ago, and the fact that it's playing out, even I'm a little bit like, ooh, okay. The fact that we've got the Five of Pentacles here as well. In terms of direction, accepting help on the material level, allowing yourself to, not only allowing yourself to be present, but allowing yourself to stop letting your mind badger you into believing or deciding that you only have to do it all yourself. This is not a week to go it alone. It's a week to open up to where the other possibilities are and who may be able to help you get something over the line. For our insight cards, what's going on behind the scenes that we might not necessarily be aware of as yet? We've got the Nine of Wands. So remember what I said to you about the vulnerabilities with that Five of Pentacles? This is a week to work on your vulnerabilities, whether that means talking to somebody about them, getting some kind of professional help or assistance. This is a week not to go it alone. You've got this with the Sun card. I'm going to be really honest with you. I feel like this week a lot of us may have some either secret divulged to us or about us. This could be a week where some piece of information that maybe we wanted hidden or wanted to be secret, or didn't want everybody in the world to have privy to. And this is the whole thing for people like me. When you put yourself out into the public domain, everything that you do is public, right? So you can luckily I grew up in an era where social media wasn't that prevalent. So all jokes aside, it could be something like that, but it could just as easily be that some form of freedom and liberation comes from being able to admit a vulnerability. And then we've got the Nine of Pentacles with this. So we've got two nines. Two nines represents the receipt. How a story is told usually determines how people see the players and the characters in that story. All right, so this week, if there is something that is shared that you would rather have kept secret, if there's something that is kind of put out there and you think like, oh, wow, I wish actually that hadn't got out. My advice to you, especially with these, this is the message: get ahead of the narrative rather than just trying to do damage control. All right, like this is a week where if something is making itself known or making itself a bit more public in your life than you would like it to be, get ahead of it. All right, this is not a time to shy away or to hide back. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. I mean, it is the Sun card after all, so whatever it is, it's going to see you kind of come through it. For those of you that are soldiering on through or past something, even with a vulnerability, even with a hold back or a hold up, there is there is medicine and magic here, but it comes from the same source. And I find that really interesting, right? We've got the Sun, which shines its light on all things and all people, good or bad, light or dark, doesn't discriminate or differentiate. And then you've got the Nine of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles, two very different energies. The Nine of Wands is vulnerability and, feeling kind of broken and misunderstood or misheard. And then you've got the Nine of Pentacles, which is about having sort of the most beautiful earthly experience that you can have that comes through your hard work. So these are very, very different energies. And the fact that they are that they're flanking the Sun card for me is kind of very interesting. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. How does this speak to you? Take care, and I'll see you soon.